I'm going to read a post that I put on Facebook that Tom talked about. I'm just going to read the whole thing. I'm going to try not to get off on a rant or a tangent. We had 2 back-to-back public hearings. I haven't started reading it yet. We had 2 back-to-back public hearings on Public Works. They were 3-hour each meetings, approving some subdivisions, I said. I understand things can get heated. That's kind of what got me in the spot, right? They want to put a Dollar General at the end of my road, and I got upset. I didn't like the way that planning and zoning handled it. I didn't like the way council handled it, and I said, well, heck with them. I'm going to, if you can't beat them, join them, and I'm going to do it from the inside out. You know, I'm going to work on how the city does this stuff, and I think we've worked very hard on that. So, point of my story is, after these meetings on social media, the keyboard warriors and the people who are too spineless to show up at our meetings and who are afraid to confront someone or look them in the eye and say bad things, have said some just terrible things about our planning and zoning members and our council and the people who work at our city. They're talking about us stuffing our pockets. They're talking about us being in the payroll of developers. They're talking about us going out and trying to cater to Dries so they can build in our subdivisions, and going out and trying to talk to D.R. Horton. None of this is true, okay? What's happening is residents of Alexandria have land for sale. They're placing for sale. The open market is doing what the open market does, and the parcels of land are being sold. The most un-American thing I can think that we could do, sit up here as a board and dictate who can sell their property and who they can sell it to. Now, we do it to a small extent. You can't sell it to a strip club, right? And you can't put a meat packing facility in next to your neighbors. There are restrictions, but other than that, we're fairly lenient, and my personal views on government is that's how it should be. I don't want the government dictating every inch of my life and every aspect of my life. So that's my background to this post, and after that, I'll leave it alone. This is on my Andy Shawwell Alexandria Mayor page on Facebook. I don't use it a lot, and I've never done this before, posted something like this and then engaged in the conversation that happened after this. I've always told all of you that sit up here, I've told all the people on our boards, I've told all the people that work for the city, don't engage with the goofballs on Facebook. When you argue with an idiot, you just become an idiot, and you can't win an argument with an idiot. But, you know, today I took a play. I said I'm going to do it for one day. This will be it. I'm not going to do it again. I did talk to some of the people. I've tried to encourage them to be at the meeting. Nobody's here. So here it is. This month, our Planning and Zoning Board held 2 public hearings to review proposed subdivisions along Grandview Road, 46 homes, and Riley Road, 77 homes. Both properties are owned by Alexandria residents, and each development complies with our city's zoning ordinances and aligns with our comprehensive plan guiding our future growth. I want to thank every resident who took the time to share their concerns. I hear you, and I share many of your worries, particularly about traffic congestion and roadways already nearing their capacity. I remain committed to working with the residents and other elected officials to prevent tractor trailers from using Riley Road as a pass-through to the AA Highway or Silver Grove. I'm cautiously optimistic that these projects will push the state of Kentucky to upgrade our roads to better handle current and future traffic demands. What I cannot support are the personal attacks, baseless accusations of corruption, and unfounded claims that our Planning and Zoning Board members are unqualified or blindly following orders. These dedicated individuals are required by Kentucky state law to complete more training hours than any other city board, including city council and myself, the mayor. Their service is both professional and principled, and I stand behind their efforts. It takes a great deal of fortitude to sit on the board and get blasted by residents in person and on social media. The members do not serve for personal or financial gain. They volunteered to serve on this board because they care about Alexandria and they want to help ensure it remains a great place to live, work, and raise a family. We are fortunate to have citizens who are willing to give so generously of their time, knowledge, and talents in support of our community. I wish there were a simple solution to address every concern that comes with growth and development. Truth is, every proposal is different and requires thoughtful, detail-oriented review. As a mayor, I've worked hard to surround myself with smart, capable, and forward-thinking individuals who are some of the best in our region to help guide this city responsibly. Together, we're building the tools and partnerships necessary to secure a bright future for Alexandria. if you have ideas, insights, or solutions that you believe could benefit our community, I encourage you to reach out to me, aschabel@alexandriaky.org. You can look it up on on our website. You can send a Facebook message and ask me to send you an email. You can call the city building. You can visit me at my house. I don't care. You can get in touch with me. I'm not hard to find. I'm usually at the brewing company, at my work, at the house, or at one of the local restaurants. I'm not hard to find, and I'm generally wearing a bright orange shirt. You can pick me out. I would be happy to meet with you and discuss your ideas. We are always better together. We are always better when we work together, and I mean that. So that was my post. We have issues for sure, and I think in the coming months we need to look at how we can address all of this. How many more subdivisions can go in here? We still have a lot of land. People don't believe it. We do. We have an awful lot of land. The state is not going to proactively widen the roads before the subdivisions come. Everyone up here knows and understands that. So they wait until the subdivisions come, and then they build it out. That's why Kenton County and Boone County have the roads that they do, because the population is there, and then they, after the fact, put in the road. Just how US 27 was. It was 2 lanes with a middle lane when I was growing up. Now it's 4 lanes with a middle lane. They waited until it was way too late to do that. We all know that. So that's what I'm saying. If anybody has a magic bullet that's going to solve all of our problems, speak up, because we're all willing to hear it. That's why I say I've surrounded myself with wonderful people, and I really have. And if we can't figure it out, if somebody out there has a solution, I'm all ears. I am willing to sit down and have a civilized conversation on how we can better the city of Alexandria and the lives of the residents. The answer is not stop building and tell people that their land is now worthless, that they've waited. Rick Carr was one of the guys. The Cyber family is the other one. Rick Carr told me this is his retirement. We're going to tell Rick Carr you can't retire because some guy on Facebook doesn't think that you should be able to put a subdivision on your property? No, we're not going to do that. So, somewhere there probably is some middle ground. I'm willing to work on it. And I hope that, council, I know that planning and zoning talked about it after most everyone left Tuesday, and I'm talking to you all about it right now. Think about it. We can talk about it for the next 2 hours if you want, or you guys can go home and think about it and come back at some meeting in the future. I'd love to hear any ideas you have. Stacy, you talked about affordable housing, and how it's almost impossible. My daughter doesn't live in Alexandria. She lives in Fort Wright. My sisters don't live in Alexandria. They live in other places. And it's hard to buy a house in Alexandria already. If you take our 4 house per acre and make it 1 house per acre, they're just going to charge 4 times as much. So now instead of a 3-year $400,000 house, you have a $1.2 to $1.4 million house. That's not really what we want to get at either, right? So that's not the solution in my head. The solution isn't to stop selling the land or to say that we don't want this contractor or that contractor, and the honest answer is that a lot of this land has been for sale. A lot of the people at the planning and zoning meeting said they wished that a boutique person would come in and put 1 house per acre. That'd be nice. It would be nice, but no one bought the land to do that. Dries was the only one buying the land to do that. Dries will sell these houses. D.R. Horton will sell the houses. There will be people lined up, and they will have to take numbers and not get the house that they wanted. That's how it was when we built in Summer Lake. We wanted the lot next to us. It was already gone the very first day it was for sale, and I'm pretty sure that these will happen the same way. So I'm more than willing to sit down and discuss with anybody how we think we can do this. But don't complain to me without a solution, because I can't listen to your complaint if you don't offer a solution. That's just all there is to it. So that's it for my rant. I'm done. That's all. Name calling, and I was called a crooked, worthless politician and a waste of human garbage just on my post today. I don't care. I told him I've been in government for 13 years and I've raised 2 daughters. You cannot hurt my feelings anymore. It doesn't bother me. But don't pick on these guys and gals in our planning and zoning. Send it to me. I'm in charge. I'll take it, and we'll sit down and we'll have a conversation. All right? Anything else to add to that?
Well said. Well said.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.